Now let's take a second round of applause for Kathleen Kennedy.
If you had to give pass or fail grade for Kathleen Kennedy's time as head of Lucasfilm, what do you give it, pass or fail?
Thumbs up overall, I think.
Someone holding a gun to your head just off camera? That didn't sound like a confident answer.
My immediate reactions are happiness for Kathleen Kennedy, that she had a long and, in my opinion, very good tenure.
If you were to do a movie producer Mount Rushmore, if Kathleen Kennedy isn't on it, you're
wrong.
doing it wrong.
You're wrong, yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy is arguably the greatest producer of all time in the film industry.
And they say this because her name is attached to things like, say, Jurassic Park, for example, because obviously Jurassic Park would not have been what it was if not for Kathleen Kennedy, right?
Get the fuck out of here.
But overall, I mean, under her direction, we got some of the best Star Wars as well. And so I think overall, it's a thumbs up.
The reason I say we got to congratulate and celebrate Kathleen Kennedy is because of the incredible content that we got under her reign.
But you got to give Kathleen credit for the fact that we're talking about Star Wars, we're talking about TV series, we're talking about animated series, we're talking about books, comic books, and movies because of her.
Yeah, not so much lately, John. The Mandalorian and Grogu comes out in 5 months. Who is talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu? Nobody. And it's the first Disney Star Wars movie back in theaters in 7 years.
I think Kathleen Kennedy did a extraordinary job with Lucasfilm over the last 14 years. Just in terms of the peak Star Wars content that I got to watch.
You get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Peak Star Wars. Now, when I hear the term peak Star Wars, I think Empire Strikes Back. I think Luke destroying the first Death Star, the throne room scene in Return of the Jedi, and not so much Disney Star Wars given to us by Kathleen Kennedy. But then again, I'm not a Disney shill.
Peak on peak on peak on peak on peak. Over the last 14 years, we've been eating good as Star Wars fans. And without Kathleen Kennedy in control, that might never have happened.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I know that Kathleen Kennedy has a lot of outspoken detractors, but whether you enjoy the new Star Wars films and shows that were created under her leadership or not, there's no denying that it helped bring forth an entire new generation of fans. Now, who are those fans exactly? Well, as you can see here, a bunch of freaks and weirdos.
From the guy who brought you the Chimere Queefers, I am cementing myself as the first stan of the Brutus beat-offs.
Nothing wrong with me, is there?
Yeah, do me a favor, hit the like button if you agree with me that some of these people need their damn hard drives checked.
We would not be talking about Star Wars right now if it wasn't for Kathleen Kennedy.
Uh-oh, you guys, the male feminist is pissed.
Star Wars was fucking dead. I don't care how many of you want to live in retcon world. I was an adult. You were a child. I know what happened. I saw what happened. After those prequel trilogy came out, that fucking brand was dead. Dead.
Now that's an interesting statement, John, considering what you just said a few moments ago.
You can't look at this period of time when she was in charge of things and not call balls and strikes fairly when you look at what she was able to do during this time, bringing in almost $6 billion or making almost $6 billion. Force Awakens being one of the 7 movies to ever cross $2 billion.
So if George Lucas killed Star Wars with the prequels, then how in the hell did The Force Awakens make $2 billion at the box office?
I think Force Awakens is incredible, made $2 billion.
And the answer is because Star Wars wasn't dead after the prequels. Fans were excited for more. Fans wanted more. And then Kathleen Kennedy, along with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and everyone else at Disney Lucasfilm killed Star Wars. And now nobody wants more.
That's why George Lucas sold it. He was getting rode like a fucking $5 whore at the whorehouse. Like he was getting so destroyed by some of the fan base. And he sold it because he didn't want to deal with the toxicity of the fan base anymore.
And the effort to try and say that Star Wars fans hated the prequels back then just as much as they hate the sequels and Disney Star Wars now is truly desperate. It's actually kind of a meme in the Star Wars fandom now that those who hated the prequels look back on them now after all the Disney Star Wars we've gotten and say, you know, they really weren't all that bad. And that will never happen with Disney Star Wars, by the way, no matter how hard these people try.
There he is. Look how sad he is. Look how sad he is getting $4 billion. Oh, so sad. I mean, by the way, he did a bad job too. Let's be honest.
Because of Grogu, I think The Mandalorian is as much a part of Star Wars culture as the original trilogy, almost, right?
No.
I think I'd have a heart attack.
A lot of the people who have been, hating on Star Wars and hating on Disney, well, they've gotten some, I think, in their opinions, good news this week.
Massive day for the most insufferable people online.
So, we'll leave it to other channels to be mean, and I'm sure they will. But we're going to be honest.
I'm overall happy for Kennedy that she is going to get to go and just focus on her passion and what brings her joy. Over the past years, she has turned into a weird lightning rod for people who make money whining about wokeness or politics in their Star Wars.
Yes, Star Wars Sexplained, the guy who literally profits off of shilling for Disney Star Wars, is accusing other people of doing what they're doing for profit.
And so, people this week are no doubt going to be making a lot of clickbait and ragebait videos.
There's a lot of vitriol around this whole situation. A lot of people taking credit that don't deserve any credit or dancing on the grave of Kathleen, which is really untoward and ridiculous.
Look, I love The Last Jedi. It's my favorite Star Wars story.
Oh.
But when people wanted to blame somebody for, not giving them the Luke Skywalker they expected, they blamed Disney and they blamed Kathleen Kennedy. And so unfortunately, she became sort of the poster child of everything wrong with Star Wars.
They blamed Rian Johnson as well, probably most of all, by the way. Let's not downplay that to try and make Kathleen Kennedy the victim here. Come on.
Still, to this day, when a woman is hired, the toxic channels are like, oh my God, look out.
Triggered.
South Park got her. They got her. South Park is very aggressive, but South Park goes for everybody.
Grace acknowledges that South Park goes after everybody, which they do, but then chooses to be offended and triggered when they go after Kathleen Kennedy.
And I don't like the way they phrased it. I think it's derogatory towards diverse representation, and I think it's insulting to, again, women and audiences of color and LGBTQ audiences.
Put a chick in it and make it fucking gay as fuck.
Toxic is when you won't let up on something. So you say something once, then you move on. If you make 50 gabillion videos about it and you make an AI thing with the person crying and devastated, you're a hate channel.
If you make thumbnails that trigger Grace Randolph, you are a hate channel. Congratulations.
I mean, we all know who they are. When you don't offer an olive branch, when you don't offer a path forward, that is toxicity.
You know what I think is toxic, Grace? Kathleen Kennedy and her friends at Lucasfilm hating over half of the fan base. I think that's pretty toxic.
It's really, really unfortunate. I mean, they make videos about me. I'm very aware of who they are.
I'm the victim here. I'm starved for affection.
Now that she's no longer the punching bag, the fans are like, who are we going to take this ad on? Get the guy with the hat.
How am I going to build my YouTube channel if I can't bitch about her anymore? What am I going to do?
And that just goes to show you how close-minded and in a bubble all of these people are. We've been ripping on Dave Filoni for years, and they are completely unaware of it.
Kathleen Kennedy handpicked Dave Filoni and Lin-Win Brennan to lead this forward. That's the reality. And I'm sure, look, there's a lot of people who are never going to accept that still think Dave Filoni is some kind of savior. You're either fucking ignorant or retarded if you actually think that. You can go back through the history of my fucking channel. I have been slamming Dave Filoni since my channel started in 2019.
Your Nerdrotics, your Star Wars theories, your Ryan Kinnells, all these people who have sold out their morals for money. It means that they've struggled and they've had to go into other things because they can't talk about how big and bad the woke Star Wars is.
Well, at least they're doing better than you Disney Star Wars shills are. Here's Nerdrotic, one of the bigger Kathleen Kennedy detractors, let's say, 600,000 views in his video on Kathleen Kennedy. Compare that to Star Wars Sexplained, one of the bigger pro-Disney Star Wars, pro-Kathleen Kennedy channels out there, only getting 19,000 views on his video.
All these people who have sold out their morals for money, it means that they've struggled and they've had to go into other things because they can't talk about how big and bad the woke Star Wars is.
And again, if that's true, if that really is indeed happening, then it's an undeniable fact that the pro-Disney Star Wars content creators are struggling even more. Anyway, wrapping up now, Kathleen Kennedy is out, Dave Filoni and Linwood Brennan are in. Absolutely nothing will change with Disney Star Wars and at Disney Lucasfilm, and the Disney Star Wars shills won't be changing anytime soon either.
And we get to sit here and talk about the greatness that is the future of Star Wars, how great Kathleen Kennedy's reign was as president, and how awesome 2026 is going to be for Star Wars fans.
What world do you live in?
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.